Hello parents, when you receive your child's exam paper, do you read just the marks or beyond them? If the child's marks goes up, it's an improvement. If it goes down, that means the child didn't do so well. What I want to recommend here is there are many other ways to read beyond them because the intention here is to help your child to improve. And you need to know the root cause in order to help your child improve in the next exam. If you do not find out the root cause and help the child learn from their mistakes, they are going to repeat them again in the next paper. So the first thing first, what I would normally do is I read between the lines. So a lot of times when you see that the handwriting normally is very neat, and in fact handwriting is messy, it tells me that the child is facing some form of anxiety. You know that when someone is anxious, his performance actually drops. So whatever marks that the child gets is not a fair test because the child is not at peak performance. So we want to give the child some benefit of doubt and to really help the child to first work on his emotional state under time pressure. Number two, is a child using slower method? Okay, so when I do my diagnostic of a child's paper, I will normally look at the problem sums, and if it's a heuristic, I'll check if the kid does solve using the common solving method. For example, if the question is guess and check, did the child use the 4-step assumption or draw table? If the question is on same difference, did the child actually make the differences the same? If this sound alien to you, and you went on checking with your kid, and if your child also look at you with the same expression, you know that your child is not learning the faster methods. Number three, grouping of mistakes. So normally when I look at a child's paper, I will do a quick scan through. And for example, for P6 papers, they have many angles question. Then I also make sure that the child is able to score all angle questions correctly. So if the child make one angle question mistake, does it spill over to the other questions and causing a whole series of mistakes? So if I want to help the child to work on his first thing is to improve on his angle questions. The other thing, for example, is if I spot a percentage question and a child is not good in conversion of percentage to fraction, so high chance he's going to make the same mistake in problem sums, which commonly use percentage. So a lot of times when a child's not able to do basic conversion of percentage to fraction, there is a very high tendency that the child is not able to do well for problem sums that involve percentage. Number four, loss of marks. First thing first, I also want to look at the child, whether the child lose most of the marks in paper 1 or paper 2. Okay, for most children, they're able to do well for paper 1 and then they will tend to lose more marks in paper 2. For children who well in paper 1, probably their skills in solving direct questions is good, but when it comes to indirect questions like the heuristics or the problem sums, they are not able to adjust and adapt on the spot, not able to problem solve fast, and not able to get the answers fast. So when your child does well for paper 1 and not so well for paper 2, the first thing to work on is the heuristics once again. Now, which is why for my lessons, I always focus on heuristics. And I always focus on getting the child to memorize and to be a master of how to start those questions. If your child is doing well for paper 2 but not for paper 1, which is very rare, that means your child is very good in problem solving heuristic questions but not very good in paper 1, then the lowest hanging fruit will be paper 1 and your child will want to work on paper 1 first, which is most of the direct questions. Number 5, loss of stamina. What this really means is, for most children in my teaching experience, the whole exam paper that lasts for 1 hour plus is like a marathon for the kid. And a lot of times in class tests, it feels like just going for short sprints, but there is no slow or gradual build-up of helping the kid to move from 100-meter dash or sprint to 2.4, then maybe to a half marathon, and then stay there for a short while to build up the stamina and the endurance, and then go for the full marathon. And even for a full marathon, you still need to be able to run that distance or near that to be able to survive a full marathon. So likewise, for many children in my teaching experience, they do not have enough energy to sustain across the whole marathon that is called full exam. When you look at the whole year, most of them are the weighted assessments or class tests, and they're all very short sprints. Nowadays, there's no mid-year full paper, or very rarely, and then it comes prelim for the P6s, which is a full paper. It's also probably their first time in that year to sit for a full paper. And then the next one is their full PSLE, which is the second time running for a full marathon. So I would say that for most people, it's a very short gap of time to build up that exam stamina that they need to survive and to be able to be in their peak state and to be able to solve questions fast and accurate, which is why I normally advise parents that you have to get your child to do full papers at home. So I hope that this short video actually gives you some insights on what is actually going on in an exam and what are some of the takeaways that you can see reading beyond the marks. If you think that you are keen to get me to support your child in helping them to learn the faster way of solving math, as well as helping them to address their mistakes so that they get them fixed fast, and also helping them with paper 2 and helping them to build up the PSLE math confidence and have enough stamina to last through the whole exam, you can check out my description below.